Like this whole introduction.
I gave it already.
Yeah, I gotta warm up. I already went to the gym. How's everyone tonight? Good. So I just want to kind of get a feel for the audience and see like who's here, what you do. So just raise your hand if you've got one rental property or more. So keep them up. Keep them up.
Renting a room to my mom.
No. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt tonight. Sure. So if you got, keep them up. If you got more than 5 rental units, more than 10, more than 20. Okay. And then how about if is anyone flipping houses here? Like who's actively got a flip going on right now? Okay. Who's flipped at least a house in the last 6 months to a year? Okay, great. Great. How about wholesalers? Who's wholesaling? Who's got deals right now? Great. So see me afterwards. Who's here to learn how to raise money? I figured that.
So we're going to raise our hands, so now we have to raise money.
So who's here because they want to invest money, they don't know where to put it, right? They have money. There's only one guy that's like watching that, right? I was just looking for this guy. I wasn't looking for the person raising their hand. No, I'm just kidding. You're good.
Like I did something.
So nobody here wants to make money on their money? Okay. Anyone read the banker's code? No. Who's read the banker's code? Great. Awesome. So I just kind of want to tell you how I got started. So like 12 years ago, before I was in real estate, I worked at a health club. I was manager at a high-end health club. And so there's a lot of affluent members there. And the guy worked on Wall Street. He's on the elliptical. Like I can picture this like it was yesterday. Right? He's on the elliptical. His name's Steve. And I'm just talking to him and a couple of guys next to him or whatever, and we're chit-chat. And he says, Paul, he says, let me ask you a question. He says, you know, you got this job, you know, it's all, you know, fun, you know, a lot of bills, you know, that. He's like, well, what do you want to do with yourself? And I just looked at him. Like, really, like, I felt like almost like a deer in headlights. Like, I didn't even know how to answer the question. I really didn't know what to say. I was like, hey, Jeff, I missed your call. I kind of had, I had a feeling you were going to be here for some reason.
I couldn't get in. The door was locked.
I'm glad you're here. I didn't see you there. So I didn't really know how to answer his question. And he says, will you go read a book? I recommend you read a book. I said, yeah, sure. So he says, go read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Read the book, the author. You know, I never really heard about him, who he was, or anything like that. I never heard the book before in my life. Who's read that book? So I went out, I got the book, and it like just completely changed my mind. And you know, and I started thinking like questions, big questions, you know, about myself, right? Like here I was, this 28-year-old guy. I'm working in this health club. There's a lot of good-looking women around. I'm having fun with my friends on the weekend, and just kind of living life. But I didn't really know where I was going. I didn't really at that point, at that stage too. It was like perfect timing. I learned a lot managing the health club because I managed a lot of people and I learned how to work with people. But unless I was opening a health club, it wasn't helping me get where I wanted to go. And I didn't even know where I wanted to go until I started thinking about it after reading that book. So just fast forward 12 years, I'm standing here right now. I raised private capital, buy real estate, renovate real estate, buy distressed real estate, renovate distressed real estate, rent it out. Buy houses, fix them, flip them, and really probably about 5 or 6 years ago is when the private capital started to really come in, because I started buying houses. I got a business partner, and I'm borrowing money from everyone that I can. My credit cards, like in a good way. Like credit cards can be good if you use them right. I was getting back that 0% interest for the first 18 months. And I'd make sure that after that 18 months was over, like it was a locked-in, low APR afterwards. I was very smart about it, and I used it wisely, and it helped me get in. And then, my mom had home equity line of credit. I got a little money from her, and my aunt and my uncle were pretty well off. I borrowed a little bit of money from them. But real soon, it ran out. Like real soon. I was refinancing the rental houses with the bank, like one at a time. and it was like great, but it like, you know, like there wasn't momentum, right? Or at least at that point, like I started, okay, like, you know, I could only do so many, right? And I had to leave some money in when I refinanced it. So like my pockets really just got dry. And so I had to, you know, I had to get capital, you know, to do what I wanted to do. So that's kind of a fast forward. I really want to know why you guys are here. So who can describe for me?
Anybody willing to describe? He's got his hand ready?
Not somebody in the audience. Is Raymond?
He's in the back. I can describe.
You want to try?
Yep.
Yeah. So I want to know like what you guys want to learn. So I can, you know, I'm going to get 10 questions out of this audience. 10 questions. And we're going to, you know, hit on those questions. So think about it. Like really think about like why you're here. It's a big why. If you think you know that answer, just ask the question again to yourself, why? Like whatever maybe the answer you came up with, maybe there's a why to that. You know, so just keep getting a little deeper. Don't get too deep. I want some questions. So just raise your hand, and nobody's got name tags, so I don't know your names, a lot of you. So just say your name, please, when you raise your hand, so I know who you are. First name's fine.
Name is Irfan.
Irfan?
And my question is, what are the typical rates you're offering for private financing?
Great question. Okay, so rates. Anyone else? Rates and terms. You put terms on there too. Sir?
Barney,
Go ahead.
where do you find your private interest?
Great question. Put your names if you don't mind that. You guys got your name right. So that's Vernon. And one more time?
Irfan.
Irfan?
Yeah, so IRFA.
And Vernon. Sir? Proper paperwork.
When you do the
Some
deal,
documentation. Yeah. Great question. Your name?
staying,
Stan.
let's stand, documentation, document. Justin,
Joe.
what does your deal structure look like for rental from folks?
Deal structure, okay? You probably find that over there sometimes.
That was Justin?
Yeah, Justin. Let me see. Hold that. Anyone else? Before we get No, you guys are here all the time. How you guys doing? I won't pick on you.
You can pick on me all you want.
How you guys doing?
It should be the back.
I was thinking more like, how about your typical opening line that you get, that you would use to like, you know,
The spiel.
yeah, someone,
what to say?
what do you need to get to attract them?
So
How do you attract them?
Yeah, so that can, we can piggyback that with that too. You can write down. Write it down. Yeah. I should know your first name. What's your first name?
Tabitha. The only Tabitha in
Oh, Scott.
Tabitha, which is right. Thank you.
My question would be, when you, because you have rentals, you have flips, how do you attract lenders to either side? Because there's a different way to approach them for a short-term or long-term lender.
So, yeah, I approach it the same, but that's good. Just,
Because somewhat, they want their money quick.
yeah, we'll tie that all in together. When we talk about this, that'll kind of get tied in with that. So, yeah, good question. Yeah. Yes.
How do I present
What's your
to on different?
The same.
How do I present to the lender? What do I have to present to the lender to show you?
Can you tell me, what do you got to present your lender?
Well, I send them budget and information about the house, maybe any revenue numbers for the property. But I wanted to know like presentation wise, like do I have to go fill out PowerPoint or just document?
Yeah. Good question. Because you're talking to also, right? Yeah. You got that? You said that? And stuff?
YESSENIA.
You got that, Ted?
Hope so. YESSENIA.
All right?
Yeah.
I'm a mistake when I'm spelling people's names right. Okay, I think it's a mistake. Yes?
All right, I think it's really inclusive in terms of the scenario that I have. So I found a property
for a great price. I don't necessarily want to wholesale it. I'd like to buy and hold it, but there's some rehabbing that needs to be done to it. How do I find money to rehab it? And then what do I do to acquire it if I don't have like any capital of my own?
So
like,
you
if I
money
need
to
to-
buy it and rehab it.
Yeah, so like if I wanted to like, you know, like I guess typically when I'm thinking of private money, I'm thinking of, you know, you kind of borrowing for the short term, rehabbing it, flipping it, and paying them back. But if I want to keep the property for a long term,
Yeah.
and I don't want to pass it off as a wholesale, like how do I? And I don't have all the money for the down payment for your traditional mortgage or
Yeah.
conventional mortgage.
Yeah.
How do I?
So good question, and that will also get tied in with rate and terms as well, and, good question. And your name?
T.
Pete.
T.
Yes.
How much of
Scott,
the
right?
deal, stands with
Stan, yeah.
how much of the deal is the lender going to need information wise? And I can understand them needing that information, but what if the lender is not real estate savvy? Or if you're telling him the deal, he's not going to understand.
Most of them aren't.
Most of them
Most of
are,
them aren't.
are not.
If they're too savvy, you probably don't want to deal with them. And not because you're hiding anything, like, I don't mean that question the wrong way. Like, but some people that just know too much are pain in the ass, right? Like, pardon my French, but, you know, there's some people that just want to know so much, it's like, you know what? I might as well just talk to the bank, you know? Like, there's kind of a reason why I'm talking to a private lender, and getting money from a private lender, you know, and I get bank money, but, you know, it's got different uses, and, you know, if somebody wants everything the bank wants, you might as well get it from the bank. But, yeah, we get, we're getting close here. You had a second question up there. Some still.
This kind of ties in with like rates and
Your
terms.
name?
Oh, sorry, Anne Marie.
Amber.
Ties in with like rates and terms, but like how much skin in the game do they look for from you?
Good question. Yeah.
It's sort of a piggyback on two, but two is a question of where do you find it?
Yeah.
The piggyback would be, I've known someone for 25 years. There's no way that they even know anything about this part of my life. How do I convert them?
And that as well, to make them comfortable as well. To make them, convert them as well as make them comfortable with that, and that's the unit.
Let's get like one more and then we'll start. What was your name?
Andrew.
One more big one. No.
I don't know if it's really big, but how long do you wait until you start refining with the bank and start, you know, clearing up the private money, I guess?
Yeah, that can kind of get the great terms. Good question.
Let's discuss that in a second. But talking about that refi, commercial refis, do you do any of those with banks?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
what bank?
So, yeah, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
You mean how much paperwork is too much paperwork?
Last question, sir?
Anthony,
Yeah.
what does your credit have to look like to get private money?
What do you think? What does your credit have to look like to get private money?
They don't look in.
Who knows the answer?
Deal.
They might.
They might. I had one private lender want to see my credit. He's one of my biggest lenders. You know, this is when we first met. And this is actually a savvy, sophisticated guy. He's been in real estate his whole life, and he's in his 80s. You know, and I met him, and he does this now, like this is part of his full-time living now, if you may say. Like, he doesn't need it, but so he's a little bit more diligent, and you should. You know, like, I know everyone's eye right now is looking through the glass of you want to borrow money, and you should, you know, but you got to look through the other glass as well, too, right? So it's not about you necessarily, right? It's about, you know, that's part of what's, you know, maybe successful in raising money, right? Like, I'm like, I want to take care of the person lending money. Like, I take care of the money more than I take care of my own money. I take care of my own money pretty well. I think we're at 10, but let me hear what you have to say, and then we're going to cut. And
Thank you.
anyone can add on as we're like, if you have something that you want to say, go ahead.
I appreciate it. My name is Shivana.
Shivana.
And my question is, do you have a particular price point that you start at as far as
Like minimum?
investing?
Like
Because
minimum?
some people have different strategies. You're looking for like 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and I follow some people online who they stick to like $30,000, and that slow and steady that works for them. But I'm curious to know if there's a particular price point in terms of investments that you strive for.
You mean like how much money I'm trying to? This amount, the
in
minimum,
terms of
size of
the
the deals,
you purchase.
the kind of deals?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So it depends on what kind of deals you want to do. Like that's up to you to decide. A little bit of a different topic,
Okay.
but I'll tell you what I do, what's worked for me.
Mhm.
But there's a big span of deals. I mean, you can pick up a Trenton row house in a bad area for like $5,000 if you want, right? And then you can also pick up multi-million-dollar properties. I wouldn't suggest picking up a multi-million-dollar property in your first deal. You're probably gonna have a hard time. And, nobody's probably gonna lend you the money if it's your first deal and you're asking for $1 million. And so you kind of have to earn your keep, so to speak. You have to earn your way up the ladder, up your own ladder. So rate offered terms, that's a big question. So right now, I offer 8 to 10%. 8 to 10%. Some people will offer a little more. Some people don't want to pay, or some people don't want to take money at that rate. There's some people that, think that it's worth a lot less. So it really depends on how bad you need it, right? How long you're going to use it for, right? The kind of deal that you're in. I know some people that are still borrowing hard money. I've never borrowed hard money. I just think it's too expensive. But again, like you got to slam a deal and you got to use a hard money guy to close it because he's willing to loan you that money. And a hard money guy is different than a private money lender. Might want 14, 15%, 4 points up front, and might want skin in the game from you. But as far as private lenders go, 8 to 10%. I used to be like 10 to 12%. That was years ago. Like the rates have come down, just like they've come down in the open market. That means they've come down in the private market as well too. So I have my lowest lender lends me at 7%. He likes a point, and I'm happy to give it to him. That's what he wants. And believe it or not, even though I'm a borrower usually, and I set my rates, the lender should really dictate. Like in my lender, I just I tell my lenders what I offer, but like a smarter, more sophisticated lender, somebody that does it, maybe a little bit for a living, like I'm telling you about my 87-year-old lender that's been in real estate his whole life. He dictated. He used to lend me at 8% at one point. And then 1 year, like maybe a year ago, we were working together for about 4 years now, maybe 3.5 years, 4 years. And about a year ago, he says, I'm sitting down and chatting with him, and he says, I see him all the time. I stop by, and I see him all the time. And he's like, you've been with me a long time. He's like, I think I'm going to just make your rate 7%. Okay. I was like, that's great. I was like, sure? I was like, happy to pay you 8. He's like, no. He's like, some of my guys have been with me a long time. I charge you 7. He's like, I'm going to charge you 7%. Lower the rate. Like he's 83 years old. It's not going to make a difference in his life. It's not even going to really make that much of a difference in his kid's life. Like the few dollars he makes, he really loves helping me. So we have a great relationship. I borrow a lot of money from him, and we have so rate terms. So yeah, as far as me for the flips, I'm usually borrowing for 6 to 12 months on a flip because I want to get out of there in 6 months anyway. Like my whole objective when I'm flipping a house is to renovate it and sell it in 6 months. But usually I'll borrow the money for 6, 9, 12 months on a flip, letting the lender know up front that, hey, I'm looking to sell this as quick as I can. If I can get out in 4 months, I'm going to give you your money back in 4 months. But don't worry, I'm going to get another deal. Because the big thing is, if you do well, you say you're going to do, you make money, your lender doesn't want their money back. They want you to have it. They don't want it. Like really, like every time I like turn, they're like, oh, I want it. You know, one thing that I do to my lenders is I offer them, and I'll keep it in escrow for them. And I used to offer that I would pay them the same rate while it was in escrow at my title company in between deals. So I was getting in and out of deals quick. So even if it was 30 days and it was sitting in escrow, like it's worth it for me to take care of my lender because they're happy. They're making money, right? Even when I'm not making money on their money, they're still making money, and I got enough money, cash flow, that I can support that. And you know, recently, because I've raised a lot more money, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I get whacked with, oh my God, I got all this money sitting in escrow, I'm paying on. So now I've been offering my lenders that I'll pay in half, about 6 in escrow. You know, but so that's one little thing that I do. As far as the rentals, I'll borrow it for 1 year, 12-month term, and people don't want to put their money out there, most of them, for long term, even though they don't want it back. They really don't want it back. I mean, as soon as they don't even want it, now keep it in escrow, right? But they don't like the idea. Like it's this mental, like they don't want you to, they don't want to sign it away for a long term. You know, my experience is 12 months, and that's what works for me. Because for me, my whole business cycle is raise private capital, buy real estate, renovate it, rent it out, lease it up, portfolio it, put 10, 15 properties, 20 properties in a portfolio, and then refinance that portfolio of properties if it's rental properties in less than a year. That's kind of like what my cycle's been and my momentum's been, and it depends on your cycle and your momentum and how much you're borrowing. You know, and you know, do you want to go to the bank with 5 rental properties and look to borrow that? The local community banks that I use, they don't want to like waste their time on like one rental property. I mean, some will, but you know, I learned this a few years ago. After like I was doing like one property at a time, and I started building momentum, and I was doing a little bit more, and you know, something happened, and I literally like told the lender, I said, look, I said, how about if I just give you this whole portfolio of properties? He said, oh yeah, that's great. You know, because he's spending all this time and energy on it. He wants to do a $2 million loan. You don't want to work on it just as hard on a $100,000 loan. So my term is 12 months. And lenders seem to like that. I'll turn it over in as close to 12 months as I can. If it goes a little over 12 months, I let my lenders know. Some of them don't care. And I just tell them up front, hey, maybe 13 or 14, you're still going to get paid. You know, I let them know. I educate them about my process and what it looks like, so they know up front. So they're not expecting on, you know, day 365 that they're having the money in their pocket, you know, maybe. And it might be a little sooner, it might be 10 or 11 months. So I kind of just let them know, you know, I educate them a little bit about my business and how I work and, you know, how they get their money back. So that's one big thing that lenders always want to know. So write that down. How are they getting their money back? So that is huge. Like if you're borrowing private money, you have to have an exit strategy. I don't care who you are. Why do you want to pay 10% forever on it? Right? I mean, the banks are charging like 4% now on commercial rates, 1.5% I was getting like a year ago. Why do you want to pay 10% on it? You know, if you borrow $1 million at 10%, that's $100,000 in interest a year. Right? That's the debt service. If you borrow at 4%, that's $40,000. What's the difference? $60,000.
A new car.
Right? Yeah. So, skin in the game. Yeah, so skin in the game. It depends on the lender, and it depends on, I don't want to get into like construction loans either, but so it really depends on the lender. I like to borrow it all because my whole strategy is to create equity on the properties that I'm buying. So, you know, I'll just give you like the smallest example just to make it simple. So I'll buy a house, a semi-detached house in Hamilton for $50,000, and I spend $20,000 to $25,000 to renovate it. So I'm all in for like $70,000, $75,000. I want that house to be worth $100,000. Like one of the first things I'm looking at when I'm analyzing deals, whether it's rental or a flip, is the first thing I'm looking at is what's that home going to be worth after I fix it up, right? Now, I absolutely, like, my whole strategy is to create equity. And that's how I'm making money. Like, I'm creating equity. So if I can make this, if I can buy this house for 50 and put 20, 25 into it, I got 70, 75 into it, let's just say 75, make it easy. And it's worth $100,000 afterwards. I just made $25,000. It's not in my pocket, but you know, it's in that property, right? It's real money sitting in that property. And then it's important to me is when I refinance it with the bank's not going to give me 100% of the value. They're going to give me what? 70, 75%. You know? It used to go like 80. I'm not finding that right now. I'm finding more like 70, 75%. So I have to have that equity in there. Either that or I'm coming out of pocket. Plus, I want to have that equity in there because I want to make money. I didn't buy this property for 50 and put 25 in it and have 75 in it to be worth 75. Well, what good is that? I should have just bought it for 75 instead of doing all the work, right? But I don't want to do that. Does that answer question one? Dan?
Your 6 to 12 month deals, are they interested in?
Yes.
And you pay everybody monthly or some people?
I pay most people monthly. Some people are fine with me paying it out at the end when I either refinance it or when I sell the house. I personally like to pay it monthly because it's just, for me, it's, you know, cash flow. Like I kind of just, it helps me like keep track of my cash flow. You know, because then at the end, you got to refinance, let's just say $1 million, 10%, you know, in a year. It's $100,000 in interest. Like if you didn't like put that away in a separate account, all of a sudden now you're gonna come up with $100,000 on your payoffs when you're refinancing it. So I personally like to pay the monthly. Plus, people like to see a check every month. You know, they like seeing money come in, and most people use it. You know, they need it. You know, most people are, you know, great. You know, like it's a car payment for them. You know, or you know, it's a part of their mortgage payment, or it's part of the, you know, helping pay their kids' college tuition. So, you know,
You have any money coming in that's self-directed?
yeah.
Is that any different? Like, what is? I mean, like.
So people can lend you money out of like. That's a good question. Huh? Is it up here? It's not up here. So, like, where do people have money at? So people have money in their self-directed IRAs. You know, maybe they don't have a self-directed IRA, but they can move the money into a self-directed IRA. You know, maybe they retired and they got money sitting in a 401k, right? Sorry? HSAs. They got money where? Sitting in their bank accounts, in their checking accounts sometimes, making no interest, or in a savings account, making like almost no interest, or in equity in their house. You know, people own a
market losing money every month.
In the stock market, losing money every month. That's an easy one there. You know, like there's no guarantee in the stock market. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I tell people. Like, I guarantee I'm going to pay you. And everyone says, "Well, you have when you guarantee it." You know, everyone thinks it's like it's almost like unheard of. How can you guarantee it? I'm like, well, you're not going to guarantee it because I'm telling you that's what I'm going to pay you. Don't guarantee it. That's what you know the terms are in the note. And I'm going to pay you 10%. To borrow that $100,000, I'm going to pay you every month. I'm going to pay you $1,000 for that. Comes out to $100,000. All right, let's make it easy. $120,000, 10%. It's $12,000 a year. That's $1,000 a month. I'm going to pay you $1,000 a month until I refinance. So, yeah, people want to know like how they get their money back and how are they getting paid. You know, most people. I have one lender that just wants it at the end. She doesn't need it. She works. She's got somewhat of a nominal amount with me, so she doesn't really care. And everyone else loves getting her checks every month.
When you're borrowing money to buy a property, all right, now the property is free and clear, no liens on it. Do they always want a lien on the property?
Yeah, so that's in documents. That's your question. So we'll get to your question.
Okay.
Yeah, that's question number 3. That's you. So let's hop down to 2.
Yeah, and Paul, one second about terms. Coming back to terms, do you offer confession of judgment, personal guarantee on everyone? Or?
I'll personally guarantee it. I don't mind personally guaranteeing my private loans, and I stand behind what I do. It's up to you and up to your lender.
Is that?
I mean, if they're lending money to me and it's, you know, my company, one of my LLCs is buying the property, I'm the member of the LLC, or me and my partners are the member of the LLC. Really, at the end of the day, it comes down to, yeah, I'm responsible for it.
So you sign personal guarantee?
Yes, I will. Most people don't ask for it. I don't mind offering it for it. I actually have on the bottom of my note, we'll talk about that in documents, like the personal guarantee, like just the one little box paragraph. One of my lenders, the 80-some-year-old lender, when he first, I prepare it, we'll talk about this in documents. So yeah, hold that question. Where to find private lenders? This is a huge question. We can talk about this forever. So I want to hear from the audience. Where do you find private lenders? Who's raised money so far? Great. You guys tell me. Where do you find private lenders? Everyone raise their hand. Tell me where do you find them.
It's my girlfriend's dad.
Oh, girlfriend's dad. She's going to help it?
Yeah.
Might be next one.
It's great. That's a relationship, right? That's what that is, right? Yeah.
Met up with an old friend at a wedding, and actually drunk and talking about it. You want to sign up?
Get them drunk.
That's right.
No, get relationship, right?
Yeah, neighbor and family.
Neighbor and family, relationships, family,
Brother-in-law.
friends, brother-in-law, family, friends.
Can I ask a newbie question?
Well, hold on, we're in the middle. Go ahead. Family. Who else had their hand up?
Many times, right from the people selling the house.
Could be seller financing, right? Great, yeah. Newbie question?
You mentioned before a hard lender and a private. And so what would be the difference? Is that hard lenders are higher interest rates?
Yeah, so most hard lenders do it more for a living, and
Higher interest, less documentation?
Yeah. So higher interest, more documentation. They want skin in the game. They usually, they're knowledgeable about the industry, and they'll actually do some of the things the bank might do. They'll come out and visit the property. They might take construction draws. That might not give it to you all up front. It's a good. So nobody asked that question, so like you take it all up front, right? So so there's a difference. Yeah, we can talk more about that later too. So where else do we find them?
Like you said, people with IRAs or people that lines of credit against their equity in the house.
Yep. Yeah, like at the end of the day, like my whole being around it is I want to make that money. Like I want to make that money. And it's really about listening to who you're talking to. Right? And knowing how you can help them. I'll just give you a few examples. So my neighbor where I used to live, I don't live there now, I still own the house and I rent it out. But my neighbor, I lived there for like 5.5 years. So my neighbor, Joe, he's a retired postal employee, right? He's a government employee, so he's retired. He just retired like a couple of years ago when we had this conversation. And I moved out from the house, still living in the same town. I had tenants there, it's a 2-family house. I stopped in there, I had to run into Joe, and he's like, "How you doing, Paul?" I'm like, "I'm great, Joe. Doing great. Buying all these houses." He's like, "Hey, how you buying all these houses?" He's like, "How you buying all?" Boom. Like that should be immediate. Like if somebody asks you something like that, like, "How you buying all these houses?" Well, here's how I'm buying them, Joe. I'm like, "Joe," I'm like, and I right into a question to Joe. I'm like, "Joe, you retired, right?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "You probably have money sitting." I'm like, "You probably have money sitting in a CD, and you probably have money sitting in your savings account, right?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "What are you making on the CD now? Like 1.5%?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "How about if I pay you 10%? He's like, "What? What do you mean you pay me 10%? I was like, "How if I pay you 10%? I said, "How do you think I'm buying all these houses?" I said, "Well, you think I'm rich? You think I got like $10 million in my pocket right now?" I was like, I'm $10 million in my pocket right now. I was like, I use other people's money. So I just explained to him in like a minute or two how I buy houses. I use private capital. He's like, "Really? You can pay me 10%? I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Joe, you loan me $60,000? I'm like, "How much money you got sitting in your account?" He's like, "Oh, I got $120,000. So I'm like, "All right, so you loan me half of that." Right? People want to be comfortable with their money. You're not going to give you every penny. You shouldn't take every penny. So I'm like, "Yeah, you loan me $60,000, Like that's $6,000 a year. It's $500 a month." I'm like, "What are you making right now at 1%? He's like, "Nothing. You're making like $50 a month." I was like, "How do you make $500 a month with the same money and you do nothing?" He's like, what do I have to do? When can I meet with you?" I was like, "Well, we'll meet tomorrow." You know, Joe loves me. He loves getting my checks every time I see him. I love getting your checks. I love getting your envelope in the mail. You know, I love it. I don't have to go to the bank because I pay your money's coming. I know the money's coming. He's never wants his money back.
Does he pay for lunch or do you pay for lunch?
I don't usually take people to lunch, to be honest with you. I think like the whole dog and pony show is a waste of time. And what I mean by that is like you need to educate people, but not that I've never had lunch or like a meal, conversation. But at the end of the day, like when I used to get, at least when I got started, I used to bring people to the properties. Like if I was renovating a house, right, I would bring those people. I'd say, let me bring you over a property I'm doing right now. Like it's tangible. Like this is where your money's going, right here. Like I'm gonna buy a house just like this with your money. And then see, I walk in the door and there's 5 guys working. There's all this work going on. I'm like, yeah, see this new kitchen over here. And we put that in. We did all new plumbing and we did new electric service, new windows. I said, we put a new roof on here too. Like people like to really feel. It's not just like out there, like somewhere in like the middle of nowhere. Like there's actual tangibility to it. Like it's security. That's the collateral. That's what it's tied to. Like their money, going into the documentation, their money is attached, that property is the collateral. The mortgage secures it, right? So the 4 documents that I use, New Jersey. So this is in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a little bit different than New Jersey. We're in New Jersey. I'm just going to talk New Jersey. So a mortgage, just like a bank, a mortgage note, there's a difference, right? So the mortgage does what? So the mortgage does what? Right, collateralizes it, right? Collateralizes the note, so right? The mortgage note has the terms. The mortgage gets recorded at the county, right? When you close with the title company is going to record that mortgage at the county. You don't want your rate and your terms in the mortgage because that's recorded and that's public information. People are going to call your lenders anyway or send them notes anyway because they see it, right? Because there's people out there that's how they try to find lenders. They might send them notes. I got a lender called and he's like, why I get this postcard? How do you people know about this? I'm like, fine. That's one of my crazy lenders, like great guy, but he's like, what is this? I'm like, it's public information. I go, remember you got that mortgage is recorded. So your name and your address is there. If they don't know anything else. And I said, honestly, if they're sending you something in the mail, he goes, no, I don't want to deal with anyone else but you. I'm like, great answer. Right? Great answer. And the lender should. They shouldn't just deal with somebody just because they send you a postcard. Right? Who wants to lend somebody money that they never met, don't know anything about them, because they got a postcard in the mail from them? Probably not. Who wants to lend money to his daughter's
Current boyfriend.
Boyfriend. Treats her well, right? And is good to her, right? And works hard, and he knows him, and he likes him, and he trusts him.
He's actually my partner. He's connected to the money. He's my business partner, and he's his brother. I think is the money.
Yeah. Well, just point an example. So mortgage note, right? If you don't have those documents, I use my own mortgage and mortgage note. I got it from somebody who's had their attorney, prepare them like they are legal documents. There's nothing wrong with if you have, a legal document. I don't want to tell people that, do your own legal work. So, use an attorney. The lender might want to use an attorney. The lender might want to have their attorney prepare the mortgage and mortgage note. I've had, probably 3 or 4. I have one lender that is an attorney, maybe 2 lenders. I've had a couple other lenders had their attorneys review my documents, and they're simple, to the point they cover everything. So, don't be afraid to use an attorney or have your lender use an attorney, or, don't be afraid to suggest to your lender that, hey, feel free to have your attorney review these documents if you want, right? Title insurance, that's the third thing. Right? Because that's the bank's going to require that. So they're being the bank. Your private lenders are your bank. They're the bank. So the bank's going to want to get that. And then the fourth thing is Adam is additionally insured as mortgagee on your homeowner's insurance policy. Absolutely, again, just like the bank, right? Whether it's Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Bank of Princeton, whoever it is, they're going to want you to be named additionally insured. And why? Well, if the house burns down, it was worth $200,000. It's now worth $100,000, or maybe less, because it's burned into the ground and it needs to get fixed up, right? Now, all of a sudden, what they lend you $150,000 on a house that's worth $200,000. Now it's worth $100,000, and still, you still have $150,000 into it. So, you absolutely better get homeowners insurance. Make sure you get the right policies. Talk to your, my State Farm guy's not in here, so I use State Farm on most of my stuff. The multi-unit buildings, anything more than 2 units, State Farm's not the right, but other than that, I use State Farm for most of it. Local guy here, Joe Meeks. And there's, if you have a relationship with the, homeowners insurance, carrier, and maybe it's your own homeowners policy. So those 4 things: mortgage note, title insurance, and additionally insured as mortgagee. And then we were talking about documents, and you kind of had a question, Stan. And I said, wait till we get there. What was your question?
That covered it.
Okay, great.
How are the documents different with a self-directed IRA?
So I have some lenders that lend me money through their self-directed IRA. You still have to prepare a mortgage note. You're still giving them title insurance, and you're still putting them as additionally insured. But the self-directed IRA, not the company, that's the one the custodian, they'll have a few specific documents that you have to fill out, sign, and get notarized. They're still going to want to see the documents that I already, they're still going to want to see, the mortgage and the mortgage note. It depends on the custodian. They all have a little bit of a different what they require, but they're going to require a few, just a couple simple documents,
So
like 1-page documents.
Kind of on the custodian and
Yeah.
kind of do what you're
Yeah. So now you got like 3 parties. Like now you got you, right, the borrower, you got your lender, and you got the custodian. So there's like 3, and you got to make sure that you, get their appropriate paperwork, and it usually takes like 3 to 5 days in the self-directed IRA. So, you got to make sure that you're planning. If you're closing this Friday, you probably should have started the documents already with the self-directed IRA.
Do they have their own notes that they want to use, or maybe just?
I've never experienced that. I prepare a note and I send it over to them in advance. They usually want to see it in advance. I know Camo wants to see the note in advance signed.
They don't have their own, though. They don't have their own.
But no, I don't think so.
You buy them.
And Paul,
Yes.
how much attention you put to SEC compliance and guidelines?
So we're not under SEC. This has nothing to do with SEC. This is just a private relationship. Like I can't give legal advice. And this is another thing I didn't say in the beginning here, but I'm not a lawyer. I can't give legal advice. I'm not an accountant. I can't give you tax advice. I'm not going out there. And laws are starting to change now, but, is there any lawyers in here that want to speak to that?
I'm an accountant. Basically, if you're not pulling together money, I think you're all right? If you're not pulling together and making investments. I think you
I
can.
think
they're lending
the
you-
biggest even point here is the private relationship. That's even bigger than pulling money.
Yeah.
But the problem isn't on our side, the problem is on the lender's side. If a lender,
Well,
I did credit.
well, it depends on.
I'm not an accountant or an attorney, but it gets to a point where the IRS says this guy's in the banking business.
Well, it depends on the solicitation.
Yeah,
Correct.
Is how it depends on.
I think that's the deal.
Yeah, so you have to know them. And what does know them mean? Like, hey, Stan, I'm Paul Margaritis. How you doing?
We know each other.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. So we know each other. So we can have a conversation, right? But if I'm out there broadcasting, and pooling money, right? So that's what you mentioned. It's about like, if I'm pooling money together, all of a sudden now you do have to meet some guidelines. And not that can't be done, because I know a lot of people that raise private capital and don't do it exactly how I do it. Like I just do private lending, which is they lend me money to buy a property,
But they say that private land can be considered a security exchange.
Who
So
says that?
it can be, yeah, I've talked to a security exchange lawyer on different occasions. And most of them said that before.
What?
If you're friends with them,
That
now,
if you even the private lender, it can be considered by Securities Exchange Commission as the exchange of
They
the.
look at number of deals in a time frame.
So, like, again, if you're soliciting and pooling together money, talk to an SEC lawyer.
No, but I'm saying the initial question was how much attention you put to the Securities Exchange.
No sense, there's no, I don't, what I do, there's no guidelines.
That's
I'm
not on our end
SEC.
anyway. So the lenders have.
So,
It's on our end because we offer that.
what I don't really want to get into the legal aspect, but I just, because, yeah, it's all about the marketing, it's all about the pooling of the money, it's a whole different conversation. And I'm not a lawyer, so I don't really want to, go into that conversation. We're strictly talking about, Steve Chatto and I know each other for years, and I know what he does, and he does know what I do, and he says, hey, Margaritis, I got this deal, here's what I need, you want to lend me $50,000 on it? I say, oh, well, what's the deal looking like? I mean, there's no SEC requirement there.
If it's only one lender, but let's say if now we have like 3 people pool money together, now
Again, pooling money. I don't pool money. So it's strictly.
So you do it one property, one lender. That's your business.
Well, you can get 2 lenders on property. There's separate mortgage and mortgage note.
No, I'm not talking about the mortgage. Of course, it's separate mortgage, but I'm saying
Right.
the rules because that's.
So if you go out there and raise $1 million, $100,000 with 10 different people, and you use that $1 million to buy 8 different properties, that's there's SEC there. Like that's a whole different. You do have to have some paperwork, and then that can be done. It's not that big of a deal. It does cost a little bit of money, to put together a private placement memorandum. So that's what you need to do is put together a private placement memorandum, because I know people that raise private money that way and use the pool of money to buy properties, but they're not just lending, they actually have equity interest as well too. Like different than how I do it. To answer your question. Yeah. So different than how I do it. I do it strictly lender, borrower. That's it. Mortgage note, real simple. I like to keep it simple.
Just trying to get a hold of retirement accounts.
Yeah. So there's some self-directed IRA custodians out there. Yep. Equity Trust and CAMA are the 2 that I happen to work with, or some of my lenders happen to work with. Deal structure. What do we?
We covered a lot of it. I actually was going to ask about lenders purchasing the equity, which you just answered.
Yeah, so I don't do equity with my lenders. I may partner with somebody on a project, but I got a lot of lenders say, well, I want to get involved. Like, I don't want to just give you money. Like, I want to be in on the deal. And most of the time, almost all the time, the only really value that they bring is money. And to me, there's fair exchange. Like, there's a value for somebody loaning me money. That's 8 to 10%. I don't value that, as getting 50% of the, everything else that I'm doing. There's a lot that goes behind, you find the deal. You got to be able to, buy and close on it. You got to be able to renovate it, right? You have to be able, if you're going to flip it, you got to be able to sell it. If you're holding it and you're renting it out, you got to be able to rent it out, lease it and then manage it. And then if you're going to refinance it. So there's a lot more that goes behind it. So me personally, I don't do that. I may partner with people, like I'm flipping a big house out in Feasterville, Trevose. $475,000 we bought it for, and it's like an $800,000 ARV. So I got 2 partners on it. 2 guys I know for many years, they do the same thing I do. So, one guy found the property, him and his friend were going to, buy it together. They were talking to me about it, and we ended up all coming in together on it. We just created an LLC for that property. And we have our shares of, membership shares on that LLC, and we all put in money, and we're all putting in value. So, and the project was big enough to do that. But a lot of these little projects too, maybe they're not big enough. It depends on, size of your project. Depends on what you need. Yes.
Do you form an LLC for each different property?
So again, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't buy them in my personal name, because then you're, more than anything else, it's liability. You go buy 10 rental houses in your personal name, and somebody falls at your rental property, even though you have homeowners insurance, they go see an attorney. First thing the attorney's going to do, he's going to do a search on your name. Ah, that's that Paul. He owns 10 properties. Oh, look at all these properties he owns. Oh, he's got equity in this one. Now he's got equity in all these properties. They're going to see like what kind of, what's available. So I buy them in LLCs. I used to buy them in trusts. And when I refinanced the properties with the banks kind of couldn't get their heads around the trusts. And, a lot of properties being owned in a different trust, and I don't want to get into that right now. But, for me, what I found that was the easiest and it offered the protection that I needed was, an LLC, and put so many properties in it.
Quick side note, I won't get into it here. But you found that the only reason trust was bad for you was the fact you couldn't roll over the bank. You couldn't refi out.
On the way in, it doesn't
Trust
matter.
is a long solid thing, but we're refining out. Trusts are harder.
Yeah, when I had 15 properties, all that were owned in a different entity, technically, in a different trust name.
Yeah.
And the bank was like, well, how can we? And they could have if they wanted to, but, I've had 2 banks that I deal with pass it to their attorneys, and they just didn't want to, they didn't want to open their eyes to how they can make it work. So I said, well, how about if I just, this is when I first, I bought everything in trust in the beginning. I said, well, how about if I just move those 15 into one LLC? Oh, yeah, that's great. That's easy. We do that all the time. Great. Because I want the bank's money and I want them to refinance me. So I got to do what's going to satisfy them. Right?
So in the portfolio, you went into one LLC, not one for each property?
When you buy.
I would, it depends on the size of the property. If you buy an office building like this, maybe you own it by itself. One LLC owns the building. Me, I personally put like 10 to 20 properties in an LLC, rentals. But
I have a question. I used to do the LLC thing, and I stopped doing that just because the bookkeeping was too much. But one of the problems we had was when we got under contract and to try to get the LLC and PA, it took about a month, right? So what are you doing to speed up the process? Do you have do you have lawyers? Or are they able to speed it up? Or do you do it yourself?
I actually have my accountant do it.
Yeah.
And it takes him like 2 hours, like not even. I mean, by the time I give him the 3 name searches to search.
Yeah, I think PA's.
I have a couple of Jersey LLCs. But Jersey, you can do it online.
Yeah, LLCs.
You do that.
New Jersey, you can do it online.
Yeah, you can do it by yourself if you want.
Yeah.
For me, I just
Couple hours.
tell my accountant to do it and charge him $200 and it's done. I give him a name and I just check these 3 names. First choice, second choice, third choice, and it's like, oh, first choice is available. Great. So yeah, like at least as far as the rentals, once I cap that portfolio, like, let's say I'm going to refinance it now, I won't put any more properties in it. I'll just refinance it with the bank, and then that portfolio owns those 15 properties, and that's it. And I'll already be on the next portfolio, when I'm refinancing that one. Yes.
As far as your LLC, you create the property, 150 Main Street LLC. Are you the member of it or is something else a member of it?
Yeah, I'm usually the member of the LLC, yeah. I mean, you could have like a managing LLC that, one of your other LLCs is the member of that LLC, and, I mean, again, it's, what's the risk, like what kind of risk, like what kind of properties you're buying, how big are you, how many properties are you buying, and I always I think beginning, I overcomplicated it in the beginning. My aunt was an accountant. She is an accountant. She's a very good accountant. She's not my accountant anymore. It's nothing personal to her, but she lives in Virginia. No, she lives in Virginia and just, she's tough. Like, it's just, there's a little too much friction, like, family-wise there, and, she expected me to do a lot more, and I just was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I love numbers, but I don't like doing this in my business. Like, I don't want to spend half my day doing, accounting. So anyway, but my point was, in the beginning, I know I was out there, and, I get this LLC, but I don't have any properties in it, but, so keep it simple, like, don't overcomplicate anything. I don't recommend that you buy it your personal name, the liability more than anything else. Even though your first blanket of protection is your insurance policy on the property, that's going to cover, like, even if somebody trips and falls. But at the end of the day, still, there's no reason to, like, mix that property's liability with your personal. Like, maybe you have, wife and kids, or husband and kids, and you have a house, and, maybe you have equity in your house and everything. Like, why even have that out there as a potential risk? It's not worth it. Yes.
No, I know you're not a lawyer, but as far as
I made that clear, right?
Yeah, no,
All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna reiterate. If you have properties in the LLC, like you said, and being that you might have limited equity, would your mindset be different if your properties were free and clear? Because then 15 properties free and clear is a lot more access for you to keep a big hit. Like, would you then maybe put them in individual LLCs?
I mean, it depends on the value of the property. You still really have the liability. I mean, you still have those properties. You still have the same liability, the same sidewalks, and and the same potential for fire and all that kind of stuff. And again, your insurance is going to be your first blanket of protection. So, and if you're going to refinance and you're going to have bank money on it, they're going to want at least $1 million, maybe $2 million aggregate, $1 million per occurrence, $2 million aggregate. So, I mean, I don't know, if you got 15 properties and they're free and clear, talk to me after the presentation. You're not using your money well enough. And some people like that. Like, I know, again, and I know accountants are typically very conservative. My aunt is, like, she doesn't want any debt. Like, I love debt. Like, when I mean I love debt is I love good debt. There's a difference between good debt and bad debt in my eyes. If I own a rental property, it has $75,000 mortgage on it, it's worth $100,000, and I've got a tenant paying it off. Like, my tenant's paying that debt off. It's good debt. If I go out there and buy a $100,000 Mercedes and I go finance it and I'm paying $1,400 a month on a car payment, well, that's kind of bad debt. Like, nobody's paying for that. I'm paying for that. Like, I don't have a tenant that's paying that. Sort of, through indirectly, but right. All right, I don't want to keep taking questions. I don't think we're gonna get through here if we do that. What time do you have to?
It's 8. You got about 40 minutes.
So, elevator pitch, spiel. Is that how you spell spiel?
I have no idea.
He's not the best speller.
Not the best speller.
He's not the best speller. You should have seen his Christmas card. Happy to ask that. So, it really is. Again, it's it's what you can do for somebody. It's like
the book that too, the obstacle in the way. So about looking from their perspective versus from your perspective.
Yeah, I'm not out there like zoning in like sharp, right? Like, it's not about me. It's it's a benefit to my business. There's value. I can do something with that money. I can grow my business with it. I can buy more real estate with it. It's going to help me make more money. But there has to be, again, fair exchange. There has to be like value for that money, and you want to make sure that you're protecting people's money. Again, the mortgage note, title insurance, homeowners insurance, like. Another thing is I don't touch people's money personally. So sometimes people say, well, who do I write the check to? What LLC? Or, can I just write it out to you? Or people just want to hand you the money. Like, really, you'd be surprised. Like, how many people will just Say like right there, like, oh, slow down a second, like, so I want the title company to handle all that, right? If I'm gonna be buying this property with their money, I'm gonna be closing it, and running title on it, and that title company's gonna run title on it, I'm gonna get title insurance, I'm gonna get a lender's coverage on the title insurance, like I said, right? It was one of the 4 things. So the money goes to the title company. The title company, just like the bank. When you buy a house, again, you're buying your primary residence house, right? And you're using Wells Fargo to buy your house, and they're going to finance your house. Wells Fargo doesn't give you a check and say, here you go. When you go to closing, just give this to the title company. Yeah, right. No, they're wiring the money to the title company, right? And then the title company has a fiduciary responsibility, right, to disperse that money, for the HUD and the closing statement and all that. So I don't want the money, send it to the title company. I get a lot of times I get money at closing though, because I'll borrow money to not only buy it but to renovate it. But if I'm buying a house for 50 and I'm putting 75 into it, and it's worth 100 afterwards, right? The scenario I gave you before, I might borrow 75. So LTV, nobody asked that, or something you guys kind of hinted about that, I think, right? So I like to borrow it all, but I'm not borrowing more than 75 loan to value ratio. But just like the bank, I don't want to borrow more. Again, and that's going to protect your lender, and it's going to protect you. Right? You don't want to borrow more money than 75 of what the home's going to be worth. Does that make sense? Do you know why? I mean, that's what the banks are doing. I know there's FHA loans and, primary residence mortgages, whole different thing there, whole different thing. But you're borrowing money on a distressed piece of property, typically, and you're going to spend money to fix it up. You borrow too much money, it's just, and again, another rule of thumb, like, that money that you borrow is for that property, right? It's not like commingled with other properties and like, listen, I hate to say it, but I'm sure there's people in this audience that know people that have not done right to other people when they borrow money. You got to be careful. Again, like, know who you're lending your money to, right? If you're a lender, know who you're lending your money to, right? If you're a borrower, take that seriously. Like, most of these people are giving you like serious life savings, right? And, don't lose your money. If you do things right, you won't lose. Really, if you do things right, if you keep things, the rules that you learn, educate yourself, and then you won't lose money. I'm not saying you're going to have a slamming deal every time. I'm not saying you're going to flip it every house and make $100,000 on a flip. Like, at the end of the day, like, you might break even, or you might even lose money on a flip. If you're doing enough of them, not every one of them is going to be a home run out of the parker. You might break even on one, and you made $40,000 on each of the other 4 that you did. That's great. Your lender's still making money, and it doesn't matter. Like, for me, it doesn't, like, really what happens to that project has no influence on the lender. Lender's getting paid exactly what I told them they're going to get paid. Like, if anybody loses money, it's me. It's not a lender. And I hear too many borrowers, or too many lenders, or borrowers, or whatever, too many people stories that say, oh yeah, well, he didn't do so well on it. Who cares? I don't care. Like, so what? Like, you still have a responsibility to that person. Anyway, I know I'm stressing out a lot, but I'm serious. Yes.
You were talking about not co-mingling, using the money on another property. So logistically, let's say you have 3 projects going on, and you got an extra 20 for rehab on one, and 20, and another 20. How do you have a different account? How are you keeping that straight? Because it can get confusing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're using a different check. What are you doing? Using your credit card?
Do what's going to work for you, I think. Like, what works for me might not work for somebody else. I mean, I for me, I know I'm keeping track. I use QuickBooks. I keep track of, all the money and, how much money is getting spent on what projects. And I know how much money, I know up front how much I'm going to spend on a project, roughly. You know, I know I'm gonna spend $25,000 to renovate that, or 25 to 30. Like there's a pretty tight range if I know how much I'm gonna spend. And, you know, don't be like, oh, well, okay, this other project needs another $20,000 over here, you know, that because I was way off on my numbers, and well, I got this money sitting over here, and I don't really need it yet. That's when you start getting yourself in trouble. You know, don't run those risks. You know, be cautious, be conservative. Like I'm ultra conservative. I'm aggressive, you know, but I'm ultra conservative of like what my ARV is going to be. You know, I'm real conscious of like construction, you know, and I know now because I've been doing it for a long time. And sometimes I don't know exactly. Sometimes I bring my contractors through in advance. A lot of times, so I know, you know, bring the electrician through, bring the plumber through, bring like, you know, and eventually you really get to know your numbers and you know what it's going to cost to renovate it, right? But if you're not that experienced yet, bring somebody through that is, so you don't get yourself in trouble. If you get yourself in trouble, you know, you get your lender in trouble, you know? So take the appropriate steps to make sure you cover your ass.
No, the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
You don't have friends that have money, and you don't have family that has money. You do know, like, your dentist.
Start hanging out with different friends. There you go, your dentist.
But,
You
okay,
start
so.
seeing them instead of every 6 months, start going in there every month, you know? Those just got there, they rub us down. So, no, really, at the end of the day, like,
So
having conversations with the right people.
Well, how do you
Right?
do that? How do you?
If there's a guy on the street and he's panhandling with a cup in his hand, you're probably not going to look to have a conversation with him about the money. I might try to give him a little food or something. They make a couple $100 a day doing that, but you know, they probably don't have 50 grand sitting in their bank account or 100. So yeah, have the right conversations with the right people. You know, for me, it's just all I do is I just talk about what I do. That's what I do. I'm just always engaged in conversations and talking about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. You know, and I just bring it up. I mean, I bring it up to like my plumber. You know, like my plumber's done 20 jobs for me, and like 10 jobs in, I'm like, you know, we're just having a conversation. You know, and I know he does well. Like he's a plumber. They make money. You know, electricians make money. You know, like you know, you kind of have to be conscious about who's, you know, who knows you, who likes you, who trusts you. You know, who gets to know your business. Usually it takes some time. You know, it takes some time to build a relationship with people. And some people it doesn't. Like, or, you know, referrals, like if you already have a lender, like that's a great way. Nobody said that. So talk to your lenders now. I mean, that's like 101, right? Like in sales. Like, you know, when I say sales, I mean, you're not selling, but you are. Like, you know, at the end of the day, you're attracting what you're looking for, right? So talk to your lenders now and say, hey, listen, you know, we've known each other. What's your name? Anne-Marie. We've known each other like 5 years now. You know, you've been working with me a long time. Like, who else do you know that you want to see benefit like you're benefiting? You know, who else do you know that, you know, would be a great person? You know, sometimes it's a little uncomfortable for that person. But at the end of the day, like most people, they're very happy with what, you know, you're doing for them. And they're happy with the relationship. They're going to refer you to, you know what, you should sit down. Or maybe Anne-Marie's having a wine dinner party at a friend's house, and she's like, and some conversation about finances opens up, and retirement, or this or that, and you know, she said, well, I have this, you know, I've known this guy for the last 3 years, and you know, here's what he does, and you know, like so, just it's really all about the conversations, but it's about like putting the spark out there in those conversations. You know, yeah, it takes time. You know, like you're not going to go out there and get 15 lenders next month. If you are, you better be up here next month. Teaching the audience what you're doing. I want to be in the audience, right? I'm serious. So, you know, it takes time. You know, and it takes a track record. And one thing that we haven't even talked about yet is, like, you better have a property for that money. If you raise all the money in the world that you want, you go out there and be like, you know, Mr. Money Raiser and, you know, Mrs. Money Raiser, and you just raised $1 million. And you don't have any properties to put it in. You know, like do one first, you know, and do that one really well and make that lender happy, you know, and then use that lender on a second project. And then, you know, it takes time to build momentum. It takes time to do more than one project at a time. You know, it takes time, like, again, you know, you need to use that money for it to be of value to you. I don't want, like, if somebody tells me, Jeff, I know Jeff and I ride motorcycles together, right? If Jeff says, tomorrow, he's like, hey, Paul, by the way, I didn't tell you, but I got $1 million in the bank. How can I get in here? I'm like, all right, well, that's great. Like, I'm not owing this $1 million today. What am I going to do with it today? I don't have any use for it yet. Like, I'm like, okay, that just opens up a conversation about, like, what's possible. And, like, how can I help him and how can he help me and what we can do together. And, so it takes time, right? Good. Am I boring you guys?
No.
No? Good?
Yeah.
Good.
All right. So, presentation to lender. Yeah, so for me, it's, again, the presentation to the lender is from the time that you met them, right? So, like, from the time that you ever met somebody, everyone's judging everyone and, in their own way, and like, who's this person and, what they're all about, and, are they, do we have, like, the same, what's the word I'm looking for here? Do we, same values, right? Like, what are they all about, right? Like, where do their values stand, and what are they doing? And, are they a hard worker? Like, people are going to absolutely, judge you, if you want to use that word. And listen, like, if you're doing things well, somebody else is going to want to be around you that wants to do things well, right? So it's all about surrounding yourself with, I learned that a long time ago. Surround yourself with the people you want to be like. So, I make it a point to surround myself with good people, people that I look up to and I value, and then they look up to me and they value me. We learn things from each other. Like, those are the kind of people that, want to do business with each other, right? Getting pretty deep here.
Paul?
Yes.
I guess I brought that up is because I don't have a tractor reference yet.
Yep.
How do I talk to them?
The first one's your hardest one, right? You say that all the time, right? About everything. Like, the first is like always the hardest to get that first lender. It's so, for me, like, I'll just give you my story. Like, so for me, I found a property. A friend of mine I used to work with at the health club, relationships, right? His grandfather passed away, and I had a couple houses at the time, like, from like the height of the market. This is probably about 8 years ago, maybe. And he was like, Paul, I know I got 2 houses, you're buying houses. What I was doing at that time, actually, is I was working in an office with other guys that are doing what I'm doing now. They were doing that, 10, 15, 20 years ago. So again, I surrounded myself with people that I'm like, there's no secret to anything in life. So if you want to do something, just go find out how to do it. Just be around the people that are already doing it. You're going to learn how to do it. So for me, I started working in their office, and I was like renting out their properties for them, right? And I was learning how to structure deals and how they bought properties, and so all those things I learned about the trust and why it's benefit by a property in trust, and so I just started learning, and I was renting out other properties for other people. I got my real estate license then, so I could make a little money, and so anyway, so Andy's grandfather passed away, and he called me about this property, and I said, okay, great. And but I know I didn't have all the money to buy it. I really had the means, not only the money at the time, but just even the wherewithal, like to go through the A to Z of it, from being able to buy it, to renovate it, to refinancing it. So one of my business partners, who wasn't then, he's a friend of mine, he's a contractor. Again, good guy, I value him, like I put him up here, right? I said, you know what? Call Steve. I might just have this, like, maybe Steve and I will buy this property together. So I just was like, hey, Steve, I was like, you own this property with me? Maybe we buy this property together? I was like, it's Andy from the gym, and his dad, his grandfather passed away, and they want to sell it, and there's 5 siblings, and, they don't want to put it on the market, they don't want to deal with all that, they just kind of want to make it a quiet sale and, easy. So Steve and I went, we looked at the house, we made him an offer, I don't even know how I pulled together. I think we bought it for like $120,000, a house in Ewing. I think we just pulled together $60,000. You know, I remember how I did it. I think I borrowed like 40 from my aunt. I borrowed like 15 out of a credit card, and I just like I did what I had to do, you know, to get in the game. You know, if you want to borrow other people's money, well, put your own skin in, you know, first. Like you better like, you know, you kind of have to justify yourself, right? Like put your own weight in, you know. And actually, I actually renovated that property with him. Like at the time, I was working for those other guys and renting out houses, but I went in and for like 6 weeks we just renovated the house, and so I learned, you know, a little bit more about construction, and you know, and I was already doing a lot of leasing, so I did the leasing, and you know, I was a licensed realtor, and, you know, so I kind of brought our you know, both of our skill sets together, and now we have a lot of houses together, you know. So like one thing like that turned into, you know, be careful about who you're getting in bed with, you know, who you're partnering with. Like that's important. You know, don't just jump in with somebody. Like I'm real particular about who I want to, you know, do that business with. You know, because again, it's like a marriage. You know, there's, you know, maybe not as much emotion involved. You know, maybe it's two men or maybe it's two women that are in a deal together, or you know, it's a man, a woman on the deal. But at the end of the day, you know, like it can get tense. You know, like things aren't easy. You know, who do you want to be like up against the wall with? You know, who do you want in your foxhole? Right?
50% of marriage is family.
Right. So
Yeah, but there's still 50%
Sure, well,
that are successful.
exactly. So choose, right? It's all about choosing the right
I'm
one.
always saying it because
The
we're,
glass is half
what,
full.
24 years? How long?
All right, you're the exception.
20-some years. Yeah, really.
Yeah. So you know, if you want to find, right? I'm not married yet, right? But at the end of the day, I got this like years ago. You know, a friend of mine has been married. A guy that I used to work with at that office. I remember I was saying something. He said, "You know what?" He's like, "Why don't you just surround yourself with people that have good marriages?" I'm like, I think it's a good idea. You know, so I was like, "Oh man, this guy got divorced here, and that guy got divorced there. This guy over here, he's paying out the arm, and you know, like, well, if I think about that, I focus on that. Well, that's what I'm going to have. You know."
They don't do them 26 years later.
So
Hey, Paul?
Yes.
Let me go to the next one. So you said, you know, when you did your first deal, you got the 60,000 up, but what are you saying to these people?
well, those people were my credit card company that was sending me a lot of stuff in the mail, and I think my aunt, and you know, I just, you know, as far as my aunt goes, I just, you know, called her up and hey, I said, you think, you know, I just have fees or what? I just asked, you know, so that's something we haven't said yet. But if you want something, you've got to ask for it. If you have to ask for it. If you don't ask for it, right? I mean, you've all heard this before. The answer is no. If you ask for it, there's a chance it's going to be yes. It still might be no. That's fine. I love no's. Who loves no's? Why? Exactly. So you get enough no's, eventually someone will say yes. Right? You know? Again, you're having a conversation with people. So, like, yeah, so getting back to your question, Senya, right? Yeah. Yeah, you just have to, you know, get yourself in there, like find out what your niche is. You know, I'm not sure what you do now, or what do you do now?
Right now I'm a call center, but I do have a real estate license.
There you go. So that's some way in, and, you know, have you been showing up at these meetings a lot?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone remember do you promote Sectors Investors? Yeah.
Dig.
I know this is big.
Yeah.
Do you promote SJI?
Not a dig.
Why not?
It's a dig meeting.
So what? Just around here, so there's other meetings too, right?
What's SGI?
SGI, so it's South Jersey Real Estate Investors Association. You know, Steve, myself, a few other guys, we run the Central SJI. It used to be called Mercer Subgroup. We now run Central, which is, we meet at the Holiday Inn on the third Thursday of every month on Route 1 in Princeton, the northbound side. So South Jersey Investors, you know, just Google that. You'll find the webpage. Great organization. So anyway, are you taping this whole thing, man? Really? I'm glad you told me that now. I'm glad you told me that now. At least I shaved today. I tucked in my shirt. It's usually I don't.
Are you looking good?
Wow. Okay, good. So yeah, so you got a real estate license. You have it hung, like you active with it or not?
Around my head.
Okay. So again, what do you want to do, right? I don't know why you're here. Everyone's here for a reason. What do you want to do? Like it's deep, right? Because you're like, okay, you want to go buy real estate. You want to be an investor. You want to flip houses. Why? Why do you want to do that? I know why I want to do it. Like I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I was like, man, I'm not working for the man anymore. I'm going to work for this man. Like really, like I'm working hard for somebody else, and that's great. I'm getting paid for it. But for me, it was about really like financial freedom, right? It wasn't about getting rich. Like it's not, it's like it's about creating wealth. Like there's certain ways I'm creative and certain ways I'm not. If you ask me to draw a stick figure on it, I can't draw a stick figure up here. I mean, forget it. Like that's not my artistic talent, But if I walk in a house or if I, so like for me, I kind of found how I'm creative, like doing what I'm doing now. So why you want to do it? It's big, right? The why. So long-term structure, T asked that. Where's T again? Yes. So you got to have an exit strategy, right? If you're flipping the house, the exit strategy is what? Sell it. If you're going to be buying a house to rent it, then what's the exit strategy? People they do want their money back in the sense of they want to know how they're going to be getting it back. They might not want it back. Like I said, most people don't want it back because they want to keep making money. But at least they want to know, like, how am I going to get it back? Like, what's your plan, right? And it wasn't easy in the beginning, I'll tell you that. Now, I am grateful that, I'm at the level I'm at because it's a lot easier getting refinances at the bank. But you think the first bank said yes when I went to the first bank? When I went to no. I went in there, sat down, and talked to this guy. I'm not going to say what bank because I do a lot of business with him now, but he's not there anymore. Sat down with this guy. He's an older guy. He's been there a long time, and he didn't want to talk about himself. We walked out of that meeting, my partner and I were like, "You didn't even ask about us." Like, I'm like, this guy's not giving us a loan. Like he just wanted to talk about himself. And at the end of the day, like he said no, and I was like, you know what? I'm not taking no. Like, no is not my vocabulary, right? Like, I'm going to get this, we're going to get this loan, right? We're getting another loan. So at least in that bank, I went back and I, put in another application. I knew a couple of the owners of the bank from the health club. I knew like 3 owners of the bank that started the bank. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put an application, I'll put a little cover letter. I'm going to let them know that I know these guys. Some of the biggest guys that started the bank, that's just my character. I know they know me. They know my character. Like that might not change at that point in time when I was just getting started. I wasn't employed anymore. I didn't have a W-2 job. So like my tax returns didn't look phenomenal. Didn't look like I was on the street, right? I wasn't, but at the end of the day, like I was just getting started. So maybe I didn't look as good on paper. Maybe they didn't want so, but I had excellent credit. I paid all my stuff on time. Again, you paying your stuff on time now? Because if you're not paying your stuff on now, don't borrow anyone's money. You're probably not going to pay their money on time. We didn't say that, but you better pay people's money on time. Let me tell you, the best way to keep somebody is be your word. Do what you say you're going to do. Pay them. And pay them on time. Everyone wants to get paid on time. Even a day late is late. And I guarantee you, people look at that. If you have rental properties now, how much do you love the tenants that pay you on the first of the month, every month?
They're great. I
love them. Like, they really are great. And then there's like a lot of other people that pay between the 1st and the 5th, and I like them too. They're great. Pay by the 5th. And then there's people that I'm chasing, every month. I like them maybe because maybe they're, they take care of the house and they still pay, and maybe they pay on the 7th. Pay them by the 5th, And then sometimes you can change them, when they get enough late fees. And you realize, like, wait, they keep sending me these late notices, and wait, they really want me to pay these late fees? But what do you mean? I've had tenants come to my office, sit down. I have my assistant do it because I don't, I'm like, sit down with them and show them, when we got their checks, we keep track of everything, and when they're late. If it's here by the 5th, it's not going to be late. There's no late fee. People start paying on time, right? So anyway, pay people on time. I mean, really, like I'm telling you, like that will go a million miles. A million miles. they will absolutely lend you money again if you pay them and pay them on time and do what you say you're gonna do. If you don't, they're late, they might not lend you money again. And they might not refer you to somebody else.
So in terms of the long-term structure, like my scenario I gave is like, I found a property that I like, that I would love to buy and hold, but don't have the capital. So would it be wise to try to obtain private money, pay them the interest for like first year, and then go to the refi route?
Yeah, so that's what I do. I borrow it, it's a 12-month term. This is what I do, and whether it's one property or 20 properties in a portfolio, rental portfolio, I want to refinance it with the bank. And basically, what happens is all that private money gets turned over, and the lender has the option of getting paid back their principal at that time, or they have the option of reinvesting into another deal. So for the long-term structure, you got to have an exit strategy. Most people don't tell people you're going to pay them back in 12 months and borrow money and have a 12-month term on it, and have no plan, and aren't able to turn it back over to them in 12 months because maybe they want their money back. Find out what your lender wants. Like maybe they really do need it back in a certain time frame. I had a lender once. I don't usually borrow for less than 12 months, but I had a lender. We've known each other, and this first time he loaned me money, he said, "Paul," he's like, "I can only lend it for you for 6 months." He's like, because he does a couple deals here and there, and he's like, I'm going to want it back actually in 6 months, and he had something that he really was going to want it back for. So I knew that in advance, and I knew where I was in my business cycle of that portfolio. I knew that 6 months would have been perfect for me. And I was close to the 6 months, and we started, talking. He was talking about getting his money back. I was like 2 months away from the refinance. But this guy needed his money back, right? So I just went to another one of my lenders. I said, "Hey, this is my older Italian lender that's 80-some years old. And he lends me a lot of money on multiple deals." So I said, "Hey," here's the scenario. I was like, "You want to lend me on this just for a couple months?" And he's like, "Yeah, no problem." So, I got their money back, and I just refinanced them out with another private lender. But, I did what I said I was going to do. They needed their money back, and I had that in my plan. I know I was able to execute that. I know that I have some lenders that lend me on multiple, deals, and I know that they have deeper pockets to lend me. So I know if I need something, I'm going to call one of those guys. Get to know that, your lender and, what their expectations are. We can talk about that too much, but, really setting expectations, with people. You're educating them on what you do, how you do it, the structure of it, and, how they're going to get paid back, and answer your question.
Yeah, so when you borrow it from them, do you borrow the price of the cost of the house and the rehab costs, all your costs that you're going to have, your holding costs, all that stuff? Do you incorporate that in the deal when you're... Yeah,
so again, don't borrow more than 75 LTV. I tell that, and don't lend more. If you're going to lend money, don't lend more than 75 loan to value ratio. And I use ARV. What's it going to be worth afterwards? Excuse me. Now, obviously, there's that risk that, I borrowed $75,000. I bought it for $50,000, and when I first close on it, day I close on it, there's no work done yet. The house isn't worth $100,000, but I borrowed $75,000. So again, it goes down to your ethics and your morals. You borrow that money to fix it up, take that money and fix it up.
So how do you get that back to the title company?
Send it to
the title company.
Yeah. So on the HUD, there's the bottom of page 1 on both sides. There's cash to or from borrower on one side and seller on the other side. So instead of coming to the table with money as the borrower, getting money from closing, and that proceeds check. It's proceeds check. It's a loan proceeds check, and that proceeds check I'm going to use. I'm going to deposit it. I'm going to use it to renovate the house.
So at that point, you do take possession of the check.
Yeah, from the title company. Yes. And I've offered lenders and nobody wants to do it because they want to make money on their money. But let's say I'm renovating, let's say I buy a house for $75,000. I need $100,000 to renovate. I'm flipping it. And it's I got $175 into it. It's worth let's say $250 afterwards. And I even approach my lender and say, hey, you know what? I don't need the whole $100 up front. Just give me $50 up front. And then I'll give you another $50 when I'm halfway through it. The lenders don't want to do that. Because I'm not paying them in. They're not making money on their money. So, you know, I'm not advising that as a lender. Again, it's the relationship that you have with your borrower, you know? I mean, you know, they know you, they like you, they trust you, they know that you're going to use the money, what you're going to use the money for, and you're not going to use it for something else. You know, a hard money lender, or even a bank, like a construction loan, like I'm flipping that house out in Feasterville, Trevose. We actually, we bought it for $475. We got a construction loan on it. My construction, that bank that I do some construction loans with, they give 70% of the purchase price and 100% of the construction costs. 100% of the construction costs. It's great. You know, when I first started using it, I was like, 100%? Like, I was like, not that I didn't want any less, but I was like, hey, why are you giving me 100%? He's like, because I don't want you to do that job. He's like, I don't want to have you tight at the end of it. I want you to get to the finish line and close it and sell it. You know, like his, you know, and I was like, oh, that's a good way of looking at it. You know, that's a great way of looking at it. First Colonial Commercial.
Which bank?
So, you know, First Colonial down South Jersey. They do a lot of construction loans like that. But I had to put in 30%. You know, we bought this thing, you know, all in like with, you know, it was like $475. So we had to come up with like $160,000, you know, out of pocket. So maybe that's not your first deal, unless you have $150,000 sitting in the bank, then you can do it, you know. But I've borrowed money from this lender before. I've done construction deals with this lender before. I've done very well in the other deals I've done. One of my partners on this deal has also works with this bank before, so we have a relationship with the bank. They've seen our work before, you know, and so that's, you know, but they're not giving us all the money for the construction up front. They actually want for us to do the work first. So they're not giving us any money up front for construction. They want us to usually do the work first, and then they're going to write us the money. You know, the banks, again, they're covering their ass. You know, they want to make sure, as much as they know it's like it's trust, they want to make sure that work's done. So we called them in we actually started on this project before we bought it. I don't recommend that necessarily unless you're, you know, savvy enough. But we would start working on like a week or two before we bought the property. So like 2 weeks into the property, like we were like, and with this property, we're like going nuts on it. Like we've got 6-7 guys there every day. Like we're really making fast progress. So like 2 weeks in, we're like, all right, Mark, come on over, visit the property, ready for a draw. He's like, okay. And he never even saw the house yet, actually. Usually he came out and sees the house before him, but he didn't come out and see the house. So he came out, he wanted to see the house anyway, and he saw the work that we did, and we asked him for a third of the construction. He signed off on it, saw the work that we did. You know? So that kind of went on a tangent a little bit, I think, but.
You have a situation where your lenders, or you have a terminating your agreements that if you need money out before an early withdrawal?
You know, good question. I don't put it in writing, but I do tell my lenders, you know, like if something happens, like you really need your money. Like one is, don't give me all your money. You know, like I don't want you to be calling me in a week. Say, hey, I need $5-10 grand. My car broke down. You know, or like I need a new transmission in my car. Or like my kids, you know, car broke down in college, and I'm just going to buy him a new car. You want people to sleep at night, right? Like that's you just bid, right? Whoever it is, like what's your comfort level? You don't want them up at night being like, oh my god, you know, this guy, what he's doing. Like you don't want that. They should be going to bed going, oh thank God I got this guy Paul. I'm making a lot of money. I don't even have to work for it. He's working for it. And I get to wake up tomorrow. I think my check's coming in a couple of days. You know, like you want them to be like that, right? So, what was your question again? Early withdrawal. Yeah. So I do offer that to people. I don't think anyone's taking me up on it. But again, you know, let them know, like, hey, listen, here's what I'm going to be using it for. Like, you know, if you're really not sure, like if you think you might need this back, like sooner than you think, like maybe you shouldn't lend it to me. Like, you know, like don't get yourself and don't get them in a position that all of a sudden now you got to come up with a plan B. Now you got to get somebody else to refinance it, another private lender. You know, kind of, but it's like pool, right? Think about your moves down the road and like, okay, you know, like I thought about the guy that wanted 6 months. I'm like, okay, I could do that actually. Where I'm at in the business cycle, I could do that. I know in my back pocket, I had like 2 or 3 plan Bs. You know, like I got a couple guys that I can just refinance them out real easy right away if I'm not ready to refinance it yet. So, you know, it's about planning, right? You got to plan. All right, where we going here? We got 20 minutes. Long-term, how much info does lender need? As much as they need. So, depends on the lender. You want to educate them. I like to try to get lenders to the properties. Usually they don't want to walk to the properties. I've tried to my old friend again, I'll use an example again. He's never seen my, after work. He's lent me a ton of money on a ton of properties. I'm like, come on, let me bring you out there. I want to show you. He's like, yeah. He's just like, yeah, it's all the way across town. I'm like, 10 minutes away. But so most people don't really, if they trust you, they trust you. But information up front, educate them, right? Setting expectations, let them know how everything's gonna work. People don't know. I may take it for granted. Oh yeah, just write the money in my title. No, really let people know, here's how it works. Use your money to buy the property, use your money to renovate the property. Here's how much the property's gonna be worth afterwards. Here's the work that we're gonna do. Some lenders I don't tell that to. They just give me their money. Some lenders, when I ask for it, I'll send them an email. A couple of my big guys that loan me on multiple deals, I may send a guy an email and be like, here's the address. I know my one lender, he wants to look it up on Zillow. He wants to look at some comps. He does his own little due diligence, and he should as a lender. And I tell him what I'm going to do to the property. I tell them what it's going to rent for afterwards, if I'm going to rent it, or what the ARV is, what's the construction cost going to be. I give them some education about it. Again, it depends on the lender. That lender, he knows what he's doing. I don't need to educate him on the closing process. He knows it. But what information does your lender need? If they're completely, they don't know anything. They bought their primary residence 30 years ago. They never bought a house since. They don't know. So teach them. The more you educate them, the more that they understand, the more comfortable they're going to be. The better chances that they're going to lend you the money. Better chance they're going to refer you the money. Better chance they're going to sleep good at night. So educate them through the whole process. Some people you got to walk them through. Holding their hand. And other people, I just say, hey, I need this much money on this property. Will you loan it to me? And I love those guys. They're great. But I love the guys too that I need to educate. Because I really I've opened eyes to some people that weren't making money with their money before. If you haven't read the Banker's Code, go read the Banker's Code. It's deep. Money making money. Money making money. If you want to get wealthy, your money better be making money. Right? Does that answer that question, Stan? Yeah. When to refi? So we talked about that too already. I refinance it about a year out. That's just kind of what my cycle's been. That's what works for me. That's how many properties I can get into a portfolio and the size of the portfolio I want. And that's how much private money I've got that I'm working with right now. So it might be a lot less than that. You might buy one rental property and want to refinance that out in 4 months. Depends on your bank. It depends on who you're refinancing it with.
Is there a typical time frame that they want to see seasoning?
Great question. You know what? Years ago, it was a year of seasoning. They were pretty strict about it. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know. I'm kind of want to hear from other people, but they don't ask me that anymore. That's just because I'm giving repeat business. I already have loans with the banks I'm working with. I'm just going to get another loan on another portfolio of properties. So they really haven't asked me on the seasoning end of it. Some banks at 6 months, some banks at 12 months. 12's been a pretty standard, traditional bank. Depends on the lender.
If that property is vacant at the time you want to refi it, is that going to be a problem?
Absolutely. So again, my whole objective is to create equity, create cash flow, right? Cash flow only comes from the tenant. And, I'm taking a non-performing asset and I'm turning it into a performing asset. So the bank, one of the requirements is I gotta give them the leases.
Even when you bundle, for example,
Yes.
if you bundle
Yes.
10 properties,
Yes.
if you have 10% vacancy rate, it's not the worst thing in the world.
They wanna see them leased out,
Okay.
you know?
Do
Make
they
your
want a
turnover
season-
short.
Do they want a season ended?
No,
If somebody comes in November, you go to the bank in December.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know how deep they're looking into the leases, but they want the leases. You know, if I'm turning over, like, let's say I have 20 units, let's say, you know, one tenant didn't work out, and they're in and out in 6 months, you know, and I'm like, I have to, you know, re-rent it. You know, I might let them know that, hey, you know, this one tenant didn't work out, I'm re-renting it, you know, I'll have, or I usually start my process, my application, so to speak, with the bank before I'm finished renovating my last couple properties. Because I'm already lining up, like I got 5, 6 hills, like in contract. You know, I got to come up with $500,000 in like 2 months. I'm like, well, all right, I got to refinance, start to refinance now, so I can, you know, refinance in 60 days from now, or 45 days, or whatever, because I know, and bless you, in 60 days, I need, you know, I'm closing on 4 or 5 deals, so I know I'm gonna have to turn that money over. So for me, it's like it's all timing. And I got to, you know, and it should be for everybody. It depends on how many deals you're working with, how much money you're working with. So usually, like the last couple properties, I don't even have them renovated yet. You know, and I let the bank know that, hey, listen, I'm just finishing the renovations on these. You know, they're not being done renovated yet. But before, you know, absolutely before they close, they want to see the leases. So, you know, I got to make sure that I work, you know, my butt off to get them renovated and finish construction and get them rented out beforehand. Yeah. Yeah, that's critical. Like that for the bank is like they absolutely want to know that it's rented out.
Do they go as far as tracking, I want to see where the rent money is
No,
deposited?
my banks haven't answered that. No. I mean, if you give them a lease and the lease is, you know, binding lease, you know, I wouldn't advise anyone, don't be fictitious. You know, if you didn't get it rented out yet, don't go making a straw lease or anything like that. And, you know, like I'm telling you, people do a lot of stuff, and I'm not judging anyone that's done that before. I'm just saying, like, you know, again, you're crossing that ethics, like legal boundary, you know. So there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, listen, I haven't gotten it rented out yet. You know, we should be rented out in a couple weeks. You know, like again, timing. You know, yeah, for me, like timing is critical. And for you, it should be too. But it depends on how hard you're pushing, and you know, maybe you're going to wait until your houses are all renovated and refinanced, and you know, maybe you're not renovating and refinancing 20 houses. Maybe you're doing 2. You know, so like as soon as it's finished, renovated, and as soon as you have a signed lease, maybe they didn't move you in yet, but you have a signed lease and a deposit. It's good. You have enough. You have a signed lease. Here it is. You know, they're moving in 2 weeks. You know, move in before we close. Good questions. What do refinance credit need for private money? Yeah, so you don't need any good credit. Again, I have one lender asked for my credit. I got a couple lenders that are retired NY New York City detectives. You know, and they absolutely told me. I think I even gave them my social. I'm pretty sure I did then. Because they asked me, they said, well, you know, we want to check you out. I said, yeah, come. Check me out, you know. But listen, if you robbed a bank and you went to jail for it, so you might not really be borrowing anyone's money anyway, you know. Again, I'm not saying you have to be perfect. None of us are perfect. I'm not saying that, you know, you could have never done anything wrong in your entire life, you know, but who are you now? What do you stand for now? You know, how are you going to handle their money? You know, you're responsible for it. You know, it's one thing to lose your own money. It's one thing to lose somebody else's money.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So at the end of the deal, when you, like, the end of the terms, and you go to pay them, I guess, whatever it is that you owe them, because you're going to be paying interest all along. When you go to pay them that payment back, let's say $100,000 you borrowed.
Yep.
What kind of paperwork do you file something then, because you got a mortgage and a mortgage bill?
Yeah. So when you're refinancing it, if you're refinancing it in the bank, they're going to want a discharge and a payoff. So the original mortgage, when it gets recorded at the county, you know, there's a spot on the mortgage that says recorded return to. So, you know, it'll get returned to the lender, right? Just like the bank. So the original mortgage that it's, recorded, after it's recorded, the county will send it to the lender.
They
You can have
don't
that
say
in-
need to be at the closing.
They're gonna have that information on there. So you can either get that mortgage, on the bottom of that mortgage, there's also a spot for the lender to sign off that it's been satisfied, right? So again, you shouldn't have your lender sign that and take it in your hands until you refinance it. My lenders, a lot of them trust me and just do that anyway. But again, like, have them give it directly to the title company. The title company will hold on to that beforehand, and then you're gonna also want to prepare a payoff. It's a real simple one-page, a payoff statement. So, just like, the title company's gonna want to call for payoffs. If there's existing mortgages on there, if these are private mortgages, like sometimes the title company could deal with your lender. With my relationships with my lenders, my relationships with them. So, I'll create the payoff, and I'll have them sign the payoff, and I'll just usually have them send it right to the title company. The payoff doesn't have to get notarized. The mortgage, believe it or not, does not have to get notarized when they're signing off that it's satisfied. But if you don't have the original mortgage, some of your lenders might not keep good paperwork. Again, planning, hey, I'm refinancing, I know when I got a closing date, it's, 2 weeks away. I'm keeping my lenders abreast of like the timing and all that. Hey, I'm 2 weeks away, and then you get these these documents, ready and prepared and signed by the lenders, my private lenders, because if you don't have that at closing, guess what? The bank's not going to lend you the money. The bank's going to want to see that stuff beforehand that's giving you the money, right? They're going to want to see all those documents beforehand. So it's really just two papers. Either the original mortgage signed off, that's satisfied, and a payoff, or a mortgage discharge. The mortgage discharge does have to be notarized.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right. When you get the private lender, how do you give them that 10% back if they're the ones that lending you the money? Like how do you come up with the 10% interest?
You're saying it's the monthly payment you're paying back from the
Yep.
loan. How are you getting it? You borrowing it?
How am I getting it?
How you
getting it back to them?
I send them a check. What do you mean? I'm not following your question.
Where's it coming from?
Oh, where's it coming from?
Yeah,
He's talking about what you.
I got like 3 trees in my backyard. I go over there every morning and I do this. My dog runs around and picks them all up. No, so if it's your first property and you bought it and you're renovating it, you don't have rent obviously coming from that property. So, it's a good question. So how are you going to pay them back? Like, do you have enough cash flow coming in, and your own, like maybe you're employed, you're going to pay them back. For me, it's just, obviously I've got cash flow from my rental business that, I pay my lenders.
And that first one, you had a job, right?
No.
I thought you had a job. I thought you were
No,
one of those guys who taught you.
I did.
Okay.
I didn't even mention those I had like one property at the height of the market, a couple properties at the height of the market, when I'm still employed. So yes, I had a couple rental properties while I was still W-2 guy. But again, it's, little by little, don't take on something, don't fight off more than you, I guess, right? Just make sure that you can pay that off. And whatever it takes. I know when I got started, there's no exaggeration. I was delivering pizzas. I was bartending. I didn't care. I knew what I wanted. I knew I was going to get there. I knew I had to work hard for it. I knew it wasn't going to come easy. I know I wasn't going to be rich overnight. So for me, one thing I learned when I first left W-2 employment was I don't get a paycheck every 2 weeks anymore. I'm like, okay, I got to do something about that. Like for a while I didn't have cash flow. I didn't have a job. I was like, I was using credit cards. Like, all right, this isn't good. Like, I gotta, I can't, all right, what am I gonna do? I call my friends. You guys, go to the restaurant. Hey guys, can I deliver some pizzas for you? I'm like, 3 nights a week, 4 nights a week. Call my friend and manager of the restaurant. Hey, you mind if I bartend over there? Like, I don't know. Do what it takes. Whatever's gonna work for you. get into real estate, I don't know, knit, crochet. Jeff crochets. Jeff, you're quiet tonight, Jeff. What's up? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Nice. Yes.
You ever do equity, meaning borrow money now and give it back with the interest when you sell it or refi it?
Yeah, so not paying them every month, you mean?
Right.
Yeah. So I only have one lender that lends me pretty nominal, small amount of money, and she doesn't want it back. She just wants it back when we refinance. Even on the flips, I don't know. I just kind of pay them every month anyway, usually. But a lot of times the flips, a lot of people borrow money when they're flipping, and it's a little bit more, status quo. When you're flipping a house, maybe just pay it off at the end when you sell it. That's when the money comes in. So that's when you're flipping the house, and that's where, you should be making money, and, there should be excess money, right? So, I know a lot of people do that. I don't know why, I'm just in a habit of paying every month. For me, I like being regimented, I like being I don't like even that one lender, I think it's like $40,000. Even that one lender, crap, I owe her $4,000. I'm happy. I'm like, she made $4,000. I don't mean that the wrong way. No, really, I do mean okay, great. She got to make $4,000. Really, $40,000. You made $4,000 at the end of the year. You didn't do anything. And be the bank. Read the banker's code, right? Be the lender, right? But at the same time, it adds up. You got 20 properties, and every property's got $5,000 in interest on top of it, and 20,000, right? I don't like owing people that, that, so to speak. I just kind of like, and most people like getting checks.
To get started though.
Right, you start that one way.
Yeah, maybe when you get started, maybe that's your plan.
Until he teaches you how to use QuickBooks.
I'm not teaching you QuickBooks. I don't use QuickBooks. I have somebody that does it for me. I know a little bit about it, but I don't use it every day. What else? Yes, we almost out of time, right?
Yeah.
Couple questions.
Thanks. So when you first started, did you self-manage your properties or did you have a property manager?
No, I self-manage. I still do. I have people that work for me. I have an assistant in my office. She does the QuickBooks. I used to do everything. I would field all the calls. I would, show up, first time if there's something leaking, what is it? I would, do the books. I would rent them out. I would, I did everything, when I first got started, and it's good. You learn the ropes, learn what it takes, So, my assistant, works in my office, and I taught her I how to lease my properties too. So she actually handles the rentals. So, if a property's getting turned over or all the new properties that are coming in, she's taking the pictures, marketing, advertising, taking the calls, showing the properties, getting applications, preparing the leases, all that stuff. But, I still manage it in-house. I don't pay a third party. I mean, it really depends on, I would recommend that you do it yourself first. If you're going to go buy a 100-unit apartment building, you're probably not going to manage it yourself. You're probably going to have an on-site, property manager, an on-site super or two. If you're buying one property at a time, one is it'll cut down on your expenses, right? Because you got to pay a property manager. Two is if you're going to have somebody else manage your properties, you better make sure it's the right person. Bless you. Make sure it's the right person, because if it's not the right person, management, that's one of the key things in rental properties. One thing is you got to buy the right property at the right price. Two is you got to renovate it, get it rented out. You got to be aggressive, and it's only making money when it's rented, right? And then three is you got to manage the shit out of it. Pardon my French, but you got to manage it. You really have to be on top of it. On top of it. I gave this example out. 10 years ago, I think when I first spoke, I had like one rental property, 3-bedroom, time up. $1,500 a month. It's real easy math. $1,500 a month. I had one rental property. 30 days in a month. It's $50 a day. I said to everyone, I said, every day that's vacant, when you're driving down the street every day, take a $50 bill out of your pocket, throw it out the window. And everyone looked at me like, oh my gosh, like that's how tangible it is. How real it is. $1,500 a month rental for 30 days, a month. Every day it's vacant, take a $50 bill out of your pocket, throw it out the window, because you're never getting it back as soon as this clock strikes 12 the next day. If the day's over, you can't turn back the clock, you're not getting it back again. It's going to make or break it. It's got to be rented, not just with a warm body, the right person. Bad tenant is worse than no tenant, that's for sure. Time's up?
Time's up.
Closing? No, I think we're good.
Time's up. I appreciate it, Paul.
Thank you. So let me ask you a question on a